Now we're ready to start singing some Torah. So the entire Torah is split up into thousands and thousands of phrases, each of which has a melody. The melodies are really repetitive. In fact, there's probably about 10 melodies altogether that you need to master before you can chant all of Torah. These melodies come in groups, and each group is named after the most important trope symbol in that group. That trope is sometimes called a master trope, right? All of the things that precede the master trope are sometimes called servant tropes. So that means the servants go along with the master. In some systems, you can name the tropes according to all different levels of masterhood and servanthood. So there are emperor tropes and duke tropes and servant tropes and lord tropes and all kinds of things. I'm going to simplify things and just call them masters and servants. The master trope of each phrase always has the same melody. The servant tropes might change their melodies depending on which master they're in front of. That's why it's important to learn trope in phrases rather than in individual symbols, because you'll be really confused if you try to master individual symbols when they change. So the first one we're going to learn is the Etnachta group. It's sometimes called the Etnachta clause or the Etnachta phrase. All of those terms work. So Etnachta is the master trope in this system. Etnachta is a melody that appears in almost every verse of the Torah. In fact, even though there are about 10 trope groups that you have to master in order to chant the entire Torah, there are only 3 chant groups that cover the vast majority of Torah. They just repeat over and over and over again. So when you're listening to somebody read Torah, you'll notice that things sound really repetitive. They are actually really repetitive. So once you master the first big 3, that'll cover about 75 to 90% of any Torah reading. In some Torah readings, it covers 100% of the Torah reading. You don't have to have any other special tropes, just those big 3 phrases. So we're going to work on those big 3 first. We'll start with Etnachta. So this is what Etnachta looks like. Ignore this part. So the first word is mercha, then tipcha, munach, etnachta. Here's our etnachta, right? That's our master trope. Etnachta is a little wishbone symbol. Notice that? Okay. Mercha is a little comma. And the way that I like to remember mercha is I call it a right hook, because if I make my hand to a right hook, and I'm just looking at it like this, right, it looks the same as the symbol. Tipcha is a left hook, because if I'm looking at my hand like this, and I make a little hook, it's the same shape as that symbol. Munach is a right angle, okay, I'm looking at my right angle, it looks exactly like a munach on the page, and etnachta is a wishbone, okay, that's my wishbone. I'm going to sing the whole phrase. Mercha tipecha munach etnachta. I'll do it again. Mercha tipecha munach etnachta. Now this is a melody that I can use to sing all kinds of things. Shabbat shalom, I love BK, right? Or hello, my students, I'm happy to see you. In each of those cases, I want to move the melody on the accent of each word. So listen again. Shabbat, right, because I accent Shabbat. Shalom, Shabbat, shalom. And then I could put a bunch of words into a couple of different melodies if I want to. I love my synagogue, right? Synagogue, not synagogue, right? Because in English we say synagogue, not synagogue, right? Synagogue. All right, let me sing it again. Mercha tipecha munach etnachta. If I want to use the symbols, this is going to look backwards to you because I'm using my own hands and you're in reverse image. But I'll do mercha tipecha munach etnachta. What I find really, really helpful is when I'm learning to put new words to that melody, to use my hands at the same time, and then I have a little bit of muscle memory. Mercha tipecha munach etnachta. So I mentioned that there's a master trope in each of these systems, in each of these clauses, or each of these groups of trope. All right, so our master here is etnachta. It can happen in a melody group that other pieces of the melody group are missing. As long as the last word is there, the etnachta melody, then it's still an etnachta group. So let me give you an example. In this group, I'm missing the munach. I have mercha, tipcha, etnachta. No problem. Munach is a servant trope. It can drop out at any time. Mercha, tipcha, etnachta. So why would I lose the munach? I'd lose the munach if the phrase that I want to sing is just really short. I don't need all of that melody. Mercha tipecha etnachta. I could also be missing the mercha and just start with tipcha. Tipecha munach etnachta. Or I could be missing the mercha and the munach. Tipecha etnachta. Very rarely I'll just have etnachta. Etnachta. Usually tipcha etnachta is the shortest this phrase gets. So let me try to sing them with my hands. Mercha tipcha munach etnachta. And without the munach. Mercha tipcha etnachta. Without the mercha. Tipcha munach etnachta. And just tipcha etnachta. Tipcha etnachta. All right, and if I just want to sing etnachta, etnachta. Okay. So once we know the melodies, we can start to put some words to them. All right, let's look at this line. Yehi rakia betoch hamayim. All right, this has mercha, tipcha, munach, etnachta. This is a phrase from the first chapter of Genesis. So I already know I'm going to sing. Yehi rakia betoch hamayim. Here's another phrase. Bein hayom uvein halayla. Bein hayom uvein halayla. Even though mercha has two notes in it, mercha, if I only have a one syllable word, I'm just going to sing it on the last note of mercha. Mercha, bein hamayim uvein halayla. I'm sorry. Bein hayom uvein halayla. So I can do the same thing with all of these. And if you'd like a copy of this, just email me and let me know, and I'll email a PDF to you. So let's sing those 4 different ways that we sing etnachta again. Mercha tipecha munach etnachta. Mercha tipecha etnachta. Tipecha munach etnachta. Tipcha etnachta. These are the 4 common varieties of the etnachta group.